So what are DTCC's latest initiatives then in the digital asset space?
Oh, we're busy doing a lot of cool stuff. First thing is our aspiration
Hey there,
right
Future
now.
Millionaires. Welcome back to the channel. It's so good to have you here with me again. I really hope you're having an absolutely amazing day, no matter where you are around this beautiful world of ours. Today, we're diving deep into XRP, and let me tell you, this is getting interesting. Remember that video I made recently where I talked about XRP literally disappearing from the market? Well, guess what? It's actually happening right before our eyes. So here's what's going down. We're seeing massive open market purchases of XRP happening right now. And I know some of you have been asking in the comments, will companies actually buy XRP directly from the open market? The answer is a big yes. And here's the kicker. This isn't coming from escrow releases. No. These are actual purchased tokens. Companies like Evernote are actively seeking to grow their XRP holdings by jumping into institutional lending, providing liquidity, and capitalizing on those sweet DeFi yield opportunities. The bottom line? More and more XRP is being pulled off the open market as we speak. This is huge, people. Folks, we are about to witness something incredible. Real XRP scarcity. And you know what? This insight comes straight from the crypto philosopher, and I couldn't agree more. Now here's the thing that might surprise you. While a lot of people are worried about scarcity, this is actually fantastic news for us. You see, all that talk about Ripple supposedly dumping on retail investors, that was always just FUD, fear, uncertainty, and doubt, designed to shake us out of our positions. The reality is completely different, and we're starting to see the truth unfold right in front of us. Oh man, were they ever wrong about this? You know those people who keep saying the XRP team just keeps dumping on retail? Well, here's what they're completely missing. Why do you think everyone's getting so incredibly bullish on Ripple right now? It's because of moves like Chris Larson's strategic investment into Evernote. And here's what I love about this. Chris was completely transparent about exactly where this XRP was headed. No secrets, no hidden agendas, just straight-up transparency. But here's the thing that's got me really excited. All these doubters and naysayers, they're about to get the shock of their lives, because XRP is positioning itself to be the absolute biggest surprise in the entire crypto space, and it's happening way sooner than most people think. Mark my words, folks, we're about to witness something special. And you know what's going to happen when this all plays out? Complete radio silence from all the XRP haters. All that FUD we've been hearing for years, it's going to vanish overnight. Nobody will want to admit they were wrong about this cryptocurrency. Now, speaking of big moves, this comes from Eleanor Tourette in the crypto space. David Sachs is meeting tomorrow morning with Republican members of the Senate Banking Committee. And this isn't just any casual meeting, folks. He's going there to stress how absolutely critical it is to advance market structure legislation out of committee this year. They're also addressing concerns from senators like John Kennedy, who've been publicly expressing some reservations about the whole process. But here's what's really exciting. This meeting is happening right in the middle of a massive wave of crypto activity on Capitol Hill. We're talking about two major industry roundtables happening, one hosted by Senator Gillibrand and another by Senator Tim Scott. And here's the kicker. Sources from both Republican and Democrat sides are telling us these gatherings are creating serious positive momentum. They're actually restarting those bipartisan negotiations that hit a wall recently. So fingers crossed, they actually get something done behind the scenes. Because any clarity that comes out of Washington regarding market structure, that's going to be absolutely huge for utility-driven cryptocurrencies. And we all know which one leads that pack. All right, so here's something interesting. According to traders on Kalshi, the odds of XRP hitting $4 or above this year have dropped to just 20%. Now, when I see numbers like that, here's exactly how I think about it. You've got two choices in front of you, right? You can either see the massive potential of where XRP is headed, or you can bet against it. And me? I've made my choice a long time ago. I never, ever bet against XRP. Think about it. When the market is this pessimistic, that's usually when the biggest opportunities are staring us right in the face. Personally, I think we're looking at double digits by the end of 2025. That's my prediction, and I'm sticking to it. But listen up, because this next part is absolutely mind-blowing. There's some seriously cool stuff happening behind the scenes right now. The biggest inspiration driving everything? They want to tokenize, get this, all $100 trillion in custody that they currently have. I know that sounds insane, but just wait until you hear this straight from the DTCC themselves. This is going to blow your mind.
So what are DTCC's latest initiatives then in the digital asset space?
Oh, we're busy doing a lot of cool stuff. First thing is our aspiration right now to tokenize all $100 trillion in custody that we have. That requires a fair level of cooperation and collaboration with our regulators, with our market participants, and really trying again to export some of these standards that have served the U.S. market so well for decades to ensure that they're infused into the digital infrastructure. But then when we tokenize all that, you've got to create value for your participants. Having a token itself is great, but one would ask, so what? So we're leveraging a couple of things. One is working with the fintech community to be able to leverage a network of different blockchains so we can provide our clients with interconnectivity and interoperability so they can move these assets anywhere they want in a safe, controlled manner. The second one is back in April, we did something called the Great Collateral Experiment, which we've been able to provide a platform to our clients where they can use these tokens for collateral, try to facilitate the financing of any trades they so desire. So it's really giving these tokens purpose and value in the ecosystem. So that's where we're doubled down right now in working with various participants, fintech, big tech, to be able to build those rails in a scalable and secure manner, so we can hopefully facilitate and encourage adoption as we move forward.
Excellent, excellent. I guess building on that point, I mean, what are some of the challenges in terms of the industry-wide adoption of DLT and digital asset capabilities and bringing those use cases to life?
There's a couple of things. One is the technology. It's unrealistic to expect large financial institutions that through the years have spent millions and millions and millions on their technology to just throw it out and say, all right, like these blockchains are cool, we're going to go that way. So being able to integrate the old and the new is really job one. And a lot of the technology and the platforms that DTCC is bringing to market does facilitate that movement between, taking your tokens and being able to provide them to your participants and clients, if you will, through old rails. So your portals and so being able to marry the old and the new is critical. Secondly, we still have issues with scalability. When you look at a firm like DTCC, we settle $4 quadrillion in settlements a year. That's a lot of zeros, and we all know blockchain right now doesn't have that scalability. So working through getting to a stage of hyper scalability is really important. Regulations are less of an issue than they were like 6 or 8 months ago. But getting global harmonization, if you're a global firm, that's more of a challenge. But where the U.S. market was still, it was a little bit of an unknown, too much gray. I think we've got good clarity right now to be able to move forward, both on real world assets and on crypto to a certain extent. And lastly, it's just being able to finally move away from speaking points. Like we all sit there and we go, oh, it's great because it's going to save you money, it's going to save you capital, it's going to save you this. The fact of the matter is we haven't been able to provide proof points at a scale that if you're a CEO of a bank, you're the CEO of a fund management company, you can say, okay, I'm going to take the plunge, I'm going to make the investment because it's going to future-proof our business. We've done it in small pockets, but now, like the time of doing experiments and doing proof of concepts, I think hopefully that's behind us. And now as an industry, we just need to hold hands and try to push forward and really test our conviction if truly these rails are the future of our markets, which I personally believe they are, but we need a lot more conviction, if you will, in the market to push it forward.
Sure.
Did you catch that? She specifically said, move those assets. Now think about this for a second. If you're going to tokenize all these assets, you're going to need something powerful enough to actually move them around, right? And here's where it gets really exciting. XRP can move literally anything of value. We're talking about the perfect infrastructure for this massive transformation. I genuinely think this is going to be absolutely huge as the DTCC continues their mission to tokenize that entire $100 trillion in custody. We're witnessing the foundation being laid for something revolutionary here, folks. I can't wait to watch this whole thing unfold right before our eyes. It's going to be incredible. And you know what? I came across this article about my recent post, and I've got to give credit where credit's due. Whoever wrote this absolutely nailed it. They explained my perspective way better than I did myself. Sometimes it takes someone else to really capture what you're trying to say, you know? They're calling XRP the absolute endgame, and they're even diving into the XRP versus Bitcoin debate, which is fascinating. Here's what really caught my attention. Unlike Bitcoin, which relies heavily on its super limited supply for value, XRP works completely differently. It's designed to be this neutral bridge between different systems and currencies. Think of it as a digital asset with the incredible capacity to become an infinite liquidity engine. But here's the key part. This only works if we get global agreement on its value. And here's where it gets really interesting. If the entire world were to agree that each XRP was worth, say, $10,000, then that collective agreement alone would make it exactly that valuable. It's all about consensus and adoption on a global scale. Here's the thing you need to remember. XRP is going to have a set price at some point, and all it's going to take is for the right people to agree on exactly what that price needs to be. Black Swan Capitalist has been talking about this for ages, and he's been spot on. He's explained how the IMF and central banks are eventually going to come together and agree that XRP's price needs to be at a specific level to move all this massive value around the world. So the big questions are, will this actually happen and when? Honestly, I think there's a fantastic possibility this becomes reality. My gut tells me XRP is going to become a special drawing right, an SDR, within the IMF system. And here's what really gets me excited. The fact that Chris Larson is a high-ranking board member at the IMF, that's not a coincidence, folks. That puts us directly on the path toward making this happen. So when are we talking about? I'm thinking this could all play out closer to 2028. You know, everything they originally planned for 2030. I believe it's all getting moved up to 2028. But here's the crazy part. Everything they've been talking about is being fast-tracked in real time, and it seems to be accelerating even more. So honestly, this might happen even sooner than 2028. We could be looking at something truly game-changing happening way ahead of schedule. Picture this. One day we're going to wake up and boom, the switch has been flipped. Everything changes overnight. Now here's what's really happening behind the scenes. The big institutional players are absolutely coming for your XRP. But here's their strategy. They're hoping you'll wave that white flag and give up right now before the real action starts. And get this, there's a real possibility that retail investors like us won't even be able to buy XRP sometime in 2026. Then what happens? They'll probably run some kind of buyback program and offer you what seems like an insane amount of money. But here's where I disagree with some people. I don't think there will ever actually be a buyback on XRP. Why? Because there are going to be way too many sellers on the way up. You know what's funny? Everyone always thinks it takes a massive crash to shake out the weak hands. But actually, when you see the price rising, that creates an even bigger shakeout. You're going to watch people selling at different price points all the way up, constantly expecting some major crash to happen because that's what we've seen in previous cycles. But folks, this cycle is completely different. We're literally on the verge of massive institutional adoption, and that's the absolute game changer here. I've always told you how incredibly lucky you are because you beat all the institutions to XRP. But that advantage? It's about to end. The institutions are right at the doorstep of entering this space, and that's exactly why you don't want to sell too early. And you know what? He might actually be right about retail not being able to buy XRP sometime next year. Think about it. If we get hit with the biggest wave of institutional demand this space has ever seen, XRP is going to disappear from exchanges lightning fast. All of a sudden, we'll have instant scarcity for XRP, and if that happens, the price would be absolutely astronomical. 110-year-old department store chain accepts crypto. All right, this is huge news that just dropped. Bealls, you know that massive retail corporation with over 660 stores spread across the entire United States, just announced they're now accepting crypto payments. This happened on October 20th, and here's what makes this absolutely incredible. They've integrated with Flexa, which is this amazing digital payments infrastructure platform. And get this, they're claiming to be the very first national retailer to accept virtual currencies from literally any crypto wallet app. We're talking about support for more than a dozen different blockchains all at once. Think about what this means. You can walk into any of their 660-plus stores and pay with crypto from whatever wallet you're using. That's massive mainstream adoption happening right before our eyes. And here's the kicker. They're accepting over 99 different cryptocurrencies. That's not a typo, folks, 99. But wait, it gets even better. They're accepting actual crypto. Not that annoying setup where you have to convert everything to US dollars first just to make a purchase. No, this is the real deal, pure crypto payments. The fact that this is happening right now, this is just the beginning, people. This is going to be the first of many, many articles we're going to see like this over the coming months. You know what's interesting? Everyone always focuses on banks getting on board with crypto. And don't get me wrong, that's huge. But what we're starting to see now is major retailers jumping on the crypto bandwagon as well. This is retail adoption happening at lightning speed, and we're witnessing history in the making. We're looking at mass adoption by 2029, but honestly, I think it's going to happen way sooner than that. I believe we're going to start seeing the early signs very soon. Right after institutional adoption kicks into high gear, we're going to witness the beginning of massive retail adoption. But here's something super important I need to warn you about, and this comes straight from David Schwartz himself. We're about to see a huge increase in phishing emails claiming they're about hardware wallet security upgrades or verification processes. Listen to me very carefully on this. Ignore any messages like this unless you can independently confirm them, and never, ever enter your hardware wallet seed phrase into anything other than your actual hardware wallet. Period. You know what? As crypto prices continue to climb over the coming months, we're going to see scams absolutely explode. That's why keeping your crypto safe is more important than anything else right now. Here's the thing. There are a lot of people out there who honestly don't care if you lose your crypto, but I do. I genuinely care. And I don't want to see any of you become victims of these scams. Remember this golden rule. When something looks too good to be true, it is too good to be true. You're going to start getting emails and text messages, some even claiming to be from Coinbase, telling you that your wallet was just connected to some random system you've never seen before. Don't fall for it. Avoid all those text messages and emails unless you can absolutely validate them through official channels. Because here's the harsh reality. Everybody out there is looking to steal your crypto right now. So please, keep your crypto safe out there. Now, shifting gears to some political news, Senator Warren is back at it again. She's slamming the stablecoin law and pushing the Treasury Department to address what she's calling Trump conflict of interest concerns and financial risks. You know Warren, she's never been shy about her stance on crypto, and she's clearly not backing down anytime soon. Seriously, when is she going to give this up? I mean, she's been trying to crack down on crypto for years now, and look where we are today. Crypto is absolutely thriving. Here's the thing. The reason she keeps doubling down on this approach is simple. Nobody's actually beaten her in an election yet. But here's what I think might happen. Once she eventually gets voted out, maybe that'll be the wake-up call she needs. Instead of constantly working to protect the big banks and trying to hold crypto back at every turn, maybe she'll finally realize that embracing innovation and allowing it to flourish right here in the United States would have been the smarter play all along. Sometimes it takes losing power to gain perspective, you know? And you know what? I absolutely blame her for this situation. Her and all the other politicians who've been pushing this crypto crackdown agenda. Because now look what's happened. According to Paul Atkins, the United States is literally a decade behind in crypto innovation and regulation. A whole decade. That's what happens when you spend years fighting innovation instead of embracing it. We could have been leading the world in this space, but instead, we're playing catch-up because of these misguided policies. But here's the good news. Atkins has promised to build a rock-solid framework and transform the regulator into what he's calling the Securities and Innovation Commission. Now that's the kind of forward thinking we need. You know, we ended up a decade behind because crypto innovation moves at lightning speed. Just a few short years of resistance and boom, suddenly you're lagging way behind the rest of the world. And that's exactly what happened during the last 4+ years until we finally got an administration change in Washington. But here's what really gets me fired up. It was people like Elizabeth Warren and her crew who were giving FTX a complete free pass until everything came crashing down. Then what happened? They all distanced themselves from that mess real quick, didn't they? Let me tell you, 2022, 2023, and the beginning of 2024 was absolutely brutal for crypto. It was hands down the worst period we've ever experienced. We had crashes left and right, this relentless crackdown happening, and company after company getting dragged into the SEC with lawsuits flying everywhere. All of this was pushing innovation right out of the United States. And yet some of these politicians still want to keep going down that same destructive path. They just don't get it. If you don't embrace this technology, the rest of the world is going to leave you in the dust. But here's what I know for certain. At some point, we're going to see XRP go on the most incredible parabolic run you've ever witnessed. It's absolutely coming, folks, and when that happens, you're going to see a massive shift in everything. Even the mainstream media won't be able to help themselves. They're going to have to talk about XRP whether they like it or not. We're literally on the verge of institutions flooding into this space, and it's going to propel crypto forward like nothing we've ever seen before. At the exact same time that crypto is already pushing upward, we're about to witness the craziest bull run in crypto history. And you know what? Right now, it's still loading. It's like that eerie calm before the storm. But that storm is absolutely approaching fast. So until it happens, stay patient, stay positive, and let's get rich together. All right, everyone, that's going to wrap up today's video. I want to thank each and every one of you for watching. I genuinely appreciate all of you being part of this incredible journey. I'll catch you in the next one, and until then, have an absolutely amazing night.